In the heart of Ebida, a peaceful Igbo village, there was a woman named Amoka and known to all as Mama Chuka. She was a gentle soul, always giving to those in need and spreading warmth with her kindness. Her laughter rang through the air like a bell, and she treated each villager as family. But her love burned fiercely for her only son, Chuka. He was her miracle, her gift from the gods after years of tearful prayers and offerings. Mama Chuka poured her soul into raising him, hoping he would bring honor to her name and joy to her heart. But, like a hidden serpent in the garden, Chuka grew into a boy with a dangerous appetite for mischief. At first, Mama Chuka brushed off the complaints from neighbors, small thefts, a stolen chicken, a pocket full of kola nuts missing from a vendor's store. She would smile gently and say, "Chuka is just a boy, he will grow out of it." She believed her love alone could set him right, that her lessons of kindness and respect would win out. Yet, with each passing season, Chuka's antics became bolder, and his actions darker. One night, the village was awoken by the angry shouts of Chief Adam, the revered elder. His voice thundered through the village square, calling out, "Where is Mama Chuka's son? He has stolen my goat, my sacred goat meant for the festival." The villagers gathered, hissing and muttering among themselves. It was the third offense in as many weeks, and now their patience was running thin. They marched to Mama Chuka's compound, where they found her waiting with wide, fearful eyes. Her heart sank as she saw the anger in their faces, the glint of sharp stones in their hands. "Mama Chuka," Chief Adam spat, pointing his staff at her. "How long will you cover for this boy? He has brought shame upon your name and chaos upon our village." The villagers raised their voices, some calling for Chuka to be driven out, others demanding he be punished. A wave of shame crashed over Mama Chuka. She felt her heart splinter as she looked upon her son, who stood defiantly at her side, his eyes flashing with an anger that she couldn't understand. The faces of the villagers blurred through her tears. Her heart twisted with pain. How had her beloved son become a stranger? "Mama Chuka," one woman called from the crowd. "You who have shown us love, how can you allow your son to bring such ruin upon us? Will you wait until he robs us all blind?" Mama Chuka dropped to her knees, her wrapper gathering dust as she clutched her chest, struggling for breath. She turned to Chuka, her face pleading, her voice a whisper only he could hear. "My son, please, tell them this is not true. Tell them you did not take the goat." But Chuka only shrugged, defiant as ever. "I did what I had to do, Mama. They all have more than we do. Why should I go hungry when they feast?" The village gasped. Mama Chuka's hands trembled. The boy she had raised with every scrap of love in her heart had no remorse, no shame. She looked up at the faces of the villagers, many of whom she had helped in times of need, and saw only pity and anger. "Enough," shouted Chief Adam, raising his staff. "If your son offends again, Mama Chuka, he will not live to see the dawn. You are our sister, but even you cannot protect him from the punishment he deserves." The crowd dispersed, muttering threats, and Mama Chuka felt her world crumble. She returned home that night with Chuka, but he met her sorrowful silence with indifference. Days passed, and each day, Mama Chuka carried a weight that grew heavier. She prayed in the mornings, wept in the evenings, and wondered what she had done to deserve such grief. She was torn between a fierce love for her son and the deep shame he had brought upon her. One night, unable to bear the pain, Mama Chuka visited the Obi. She fell to her knees before him, her voice a cracked whisper. "Please, my son has lost his way. I beg you, do not let him be destroyed. I will do whatever it takes, punish me, work me like a slave, but spare him." The Obi sighed, looking down at her with compassion. "Mama Chuka, no mother should suffer as you have, and yet no village should bear the burden of a son like yours. But there is still hope. We will watch him closely, and he will serve each elder in the village. He will sweat for his meals and labor for his place among us." So it was done. Chuka was given to the village, his every move watched and every mistake met with strict discipline. He fetched water for hours under the scorching sun, tilled the fields from dawn until his hands were blistered, and cleaned the Obi's compound each night. The elders pushed him, breaking down his arrogance, forcing him to face the consequences of his actions. Chuka grew bitter at first, his defiance simmering beneath the surface. But the village was relentless, teaching him the value of hard work, humility, and respect. Mama Chuka watched from afar, her heart both proud and pained. She knew it was necessary, but each time she saw her son struggle, a piece of her soul seemed to shatter. Yet, she never interfered, she held her ground, her love steady but her resolve unyielding. Months passed, and something began to shift in Chuka. The wildness faded from his eyes, replaced by a new understanding. One evening, he came to his mother, his voice humble for the first time. "Mama, I understand now. I have hurt you, and the village. Will they ever forgive me?" Mama Chuka took his hands, her heart swelling with both relief and sorrow. "Only time will tell, my son. But remember, the village raised you, they punished you because they care for you. Never forget that." From that day on, Chuka worked not only for the elders but also for the people he had wronged. He returned stolen goods, helped the widows, played with the children, and gave everything he had to the community he had once hurt. The villagers saw the change, and slowly, their distrust turned to cautious acceptance. Chuka was no longer the reckless thief but a young man transformed by the love and discipline of his mother, and the unyielding strength of the village. Years later, Mama Chuka walked proudly beside her son, who had become a respected young man, grateful and humble. The shame she had once felt turned to pride, her anguish now a distant memory. She held her head high, knowing her love, and the village's strength, had saved him. And the villagers would often say, "It took all of Ebida to raise Chuka, but it was Mama Chuka's unbreakable heart that kept him a better person."